Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel GDC Classes English. Today in this session we are going to discuss the human anatomy and physiology subject, and the topic will be respiratory system, which is the second unit of your Telangana Pharmacist syllabus. Let's start today's session with our first question. The question is, which of the following are parts of the human respiratory system? Our human respiratory system consists of many parts. First, it starts with your nose, from where the oxygen enters and releases out the carbon dioxide. Then we have, in the following, we have the pharynx. Which is the common pathway for your food as well as for your oxygen and carbon dioxide. After the pharynx, we have larynx. This is your larynx, also known as your voice box, also known as your Adam's apple. That is Adam's apple. After your larynx, here it gets started with the trachea. Here trachea is started. Now, after the end of the trachea, we have two bronchus, also known as bronchi. These are the true bronchus, either also known as bronchi. The next we have the sub branches spread all over your lungs. That is known as your bronchioles. This is your bronchioles. This branches you can see is the bronchioles. At the end of the bronchioles we have alveoli. The place where your carbon dioxide and your oxygen are exchanged. This is alveoli. So these are the different parts of your respiratory system. According to our options, yes, we have trachea. Also we have diaphragm, which is situated just below the lungs. It helps your lungs to inhale and exhale the gases. Clear? And we have the lungs. Obviously respiratory consists of the lungs because all these portions are covered by your muscles, that is known as your lungs. So the correct answer will be all of the above. Clear? Correct answer is all of the above. Now the next question. Which of the following parts of the brain regulates the respiratory process? Question is easy. The question says, which part of brain regulates the respiration process? The vagus nerve is responsible for sending the information to your brain, to your digestive system, to your heart. Next is your medulla oblongata, also a part of your brain, especially the pons, controls the respiratory process, and the cerebellum, it is responsible to maintain the balance of our body. So the correct answer will be your medulla oblongata. Clear? This is responsible for the regulation of your respiratory process. Clear? See, both medulla and pons have regions responsible for the regulation of respiration. As I informed, medulla oblongata and the pons both are responsible for the respiration process. Clear? The next we have, in which part of the respiratory system gases exchange takes place? Which part of the respiratory system? As I informed in the first question, the alveoli. This is the part and the end of your lungs which are responsible for the exchange of your oxygen and carbon dioxide. How? Let me know. Here we have the hemoglobin. As you all know, the hemoglobin or the blood is responsible for the circulation in our body, all over our body parts. So here also the carbon dioxide and oxygen are regulated throughout our body with the help of your blood. That is, the one of the important components is the hemoglobin. It comprises of 4 hands, and each hand it contains 1 oxygen. That means at a time the hemoglobin can carry 4 oxygen. Clear? So here the hemoglobin exchanges the gas with the alveoli by taking the oxygen, and the blood is then circulated to your different body parts. and the muscles which has released the carbon dioxide after using the oxygen is then transported to the same blood, and the blood will now next it will carry out the deoxygenated blood again to your alveoli. Like this, your oxygen and carbon dioxide circulated through all over your body parts. Clear? So the correct answer will be your alveoli. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. This is, which of the following is a part of digestive system as well as respiratory system? Now, as I informed, there is what? This is your nose, this is your mouth. This is your mouth from where you intake your food materials. This is your nose from where you breathe. Now, we have a common pathway for them. These two have the common pathway. This is known as your pharynx. This is known as pharynx. It regulates flow of food as well as air by controlling one of them. Like when you are eating a food or when you are swallowing the food, the pharynx will block the nostrils so that air cannot enter. At the same time, when you are breathing, you are not able to swallow the food. This is because of your pharynx. So clear? So this is the common pathway for your digestive system as well as for your respiratory system. Especially we have a epiglottis to control this process. Clear? Okay. So the correct answer will be the pharynx. Clear? Okay. Next question. Okay, one more thing. Your pharynx is divided into 3 subtypes. This is nasopharynx. From the word you can understand the nasal part. That is nasopharynx. Next is oropharynx. This is the part where your mouth is connected. This is oropharynx, from where your mouth is connected. Next is your laryngopharynx. This portion lies between or behind the larynx. That is known as the laryngopharynx. These are the 3 parts of your pharynx as well. Clear? Now the next question. Respiratory organ known as voice box. Again the main important question. Here the alveoli is responsible for exchange of gases. Larynx is known as the voice box as well as your Adam's apple. Clear? And the pharynx is the common pathway. Trachea is the main part which divides the airs into 2 different lungs. Clear? So the correct answer will be your larynx. Okay. Now the next question. Which of the following is the function of respiratory system? If I ask you that what is the function of a respiratory system, everyone within a second will just say me the answer that in the process of breathing, the respiratory system is involved. That means the function of respiratory system is the breathing. But no, it is responsible for the different functions also. Like obviously you know it provides for the exchange of gases. That is the main function. Helps regulate the blood pH by controlling the amount of carbon dioxide. It helps in controlling the pH of the blood. Next is filters inspired air. The same thing, the same point, it helps in the filtering of your inhaled air. Clear? So the correct answer will be your all of the above. As simple as that. Okay. Now the next question. The volume of air which remains in the lungs on forced expiration. So these are the main important terms also asked in your exams very directly. So you need to understand each and every term. So first of all we have tidal volume. From T you can understand total. Means the amount of air you inhale and the amount of air you exhale without applying any force is your tidal volume. Clear? Next is vital capacity. Vital capacity is equal to your tidal volume plus ERV, that is expiratory reserve volume, and your IRV as well as your residual volume. Now as you know the ventilation rate is the amount of the artificial oxygen you provide to a person when he is not able to breathe, when the body is not able to exchange the gases, is the ventilation process. Clear? Next is the residual volume. As the word you can understand, residual means the leftover part. So the amount of air left after the forcefully expel of your oxygen or CO2 is known as the residual volume. So the question is, the volume of air which remain in the lungs after a forced expiration, means expirate the maximum amount of CO2, then the leftover gas which is left on your lungs is your residual volume. Clear? Understood? Okay. So the correct answer is residual volume. Now the next question. Tidal volume in a human being is the total volume of your air in human being is, that is your 500 ml. How much? That is 500 ml. Clear? Next. Emphysema is a which type of disease? Emphysema means, I think you have seen in ads, someone is very rigorously coughing and inhaling the air in a large amount. The lungs are not properly at a functioning condition. So that is the disease of your pulmonary. Pulmonary also resembles for your lungs. Clear? So pulmonary disease is the example of your emphysema. Clear? Next question. See, emphysema is what? It is a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Chronic means the last stage. Next we have, in emphysema, the air sacs in the lungs are damaged. That means your alveoli are damaged. So the person is not able to exchange the gas properly. The transport of your oxygen in your body is not in a proper terms and conditions. Clear? Understood what is emphysema? Now, let's move on to the next question. How the majority of the oxygen gets transported? We know that the oxygen is transported in our blood. We know the oxygen is transported to our body via your hemoglobin, that is oxyhemoglobin. Hemoglobin is responsible for the transportation of your oxygen and carbon dioxide. That's why in the form of oxyhemoglobin our body receives the what? Your oxygen. Okay, clear? Next question. One hemoglobin carries dash molecules of oxygen. I informed already. One hemoglobin has how many hands? It has 4 hands, and each hand contains one oxygen. That is, at a one time hemoglobin can carry 4 oxygen molecules. How many? 4 oxygen molecules. Clear? Easy? Now the next question. Vital capacity of lungs is the total process of your lungs is your vital capacity. I also informed the TRV, IRV and the ERV is the vital capacity. Clear? Here residual volume also can be included, but the main thing which we need to include is your tidal volume. That means the total air and the body is expelling and inhaling. Next is IRV, that is the inspiratory reserve volume, means the amount of gas inhaled forcefully is known as your IRV, that is the fast breathing. Next is ERV, the expiratory reserve volume, the amount of gas which is expelled out to your body forcefully is known as ERV. So the total of these 3 is known as your vital capacity. Clear? What is the correct answer? First option, TV plus IRV plus ERV. Okay? Now, the next question. Oxygen is transported from alveoli to, from where the oxygen is transported is your alveoli. To whom it is transported? To your tissues. Clear? And by whom it is transported? That is the blood. The blood transports your oxygen from your alveoli to your tissues and carry back the carbon dioxide from the tissues to your alveoli, and the alveoli will expel out the carbon dioxide. Clear? Understood? Okay. So the correct answer is your tissues by the blood. Now the next question. Which respiratory organ is not a part of lower respiratory system? Please understand, wherever you notice in the questions the not, nor, except, incorrect, these words are very much important. Look on to the question once again. Clear? So here the question is asking which of the following parts is not a part of your lower respiratory system. So lower respiratory system means it consists of your trachea, it consists of your bronchus, bronchioles and your alveoli as well as your lungs. But the pharynx is not the part of your lower respiratory system. Clear? Okay. Now the next question. The external nose have two openings called. The nose have two openings. This and this. This is known as your nostrils. And the cavity present over both the sides is your nasal cavity. This is your septum. This is your wormer's bone. This is your nasal bone. Clear? So both the holes which you are seeing on your nose is your nostrils. Clear? And the cavity where you have the hairs and the mucus is your nasal cavity. The correct answer will be your nostrils. Clear? From where the air enters. Now the next question. Length of pharynx. What is the length of pharynx? It might be very large because it connects the nose part as well as your mouth part. So the correct answer will be 13 centimeter. This is the unit you need to remember. The length of the pharynx is 13 centimeter. There is no such concept which can be explained. Clear? Okay. Now the next question. Inner layer of pleura is called as. Pleura is what? That is your lungs. Clear? Pleura is also known as your lungs. This is your lungs, for example. Don't go over the diagram, please. So the pleura has two membranes. This is the inner layer, which is known as your visceral layer, as well as the outer layer of your lungs or the covering of your lungs is known as the parietal pleural layer. Clear? There are two things. One is the lining, that is in the innermost part of your organ, and the covering is the cover of the membrane over your organs is known as your covering. So the correct answer will be your visceral layer. Clear? Now the next question. A deficiency of oxygen at the tissue level is called. Now very interesting part. What does this hypoxia means? Hypo means the decrease. From oxia, you can remember oxygen. You can remember oxygen. That is, the decrease in oxygen level is the hypoxia. Clear? This is your answer. But let's understand the other options also. This is hypercapnia. That is known as hypercarbemia, which is known as the CO2 retention. Clear? Next is hyperventilation. Hyper means increased. Okay. So ventilation means when the ventilation rate is increased, the amount of artificial oxygen level is increased is your hyperventilation. Next is hypertension. Hyper means increase. Tension means the tension applied by your blood on your blood vessels is the tension. So hypertension means your high BP. That is high BP, blood pressure. Clear? So for this question the answer will be your hypoxia. Clear? Okay. The next question. The volume of air in one breath is called. The volume of air in one breath. That means your breath consists of two processes. One is inhalation and another is your expiration. So the amount of air you inhale and exhale without applying any force is your tidal volume. That is tidal volume. Clear? Now, the next and the last question, the shape of trachea. If I ask this question, most of you will comment that the shape of trachea is a conical flask or a cylindrical shape. I will not give the answer of this question. Please comment in the comment box what will be the answer of this last question. What is the shape of trachea? Let me see who guesses the answer correctly. Okay. So, for more videos, keep watching our channel, that is GDC Classes English, and to practice more such type of MCQs, you can purchase the Objective Pharmacist book available on GDC Classes app. Okay. So, we will meet in the next lecture. Till then, practice the questions and all the very best.